Who is Malka Leifer, and what does she stand accused of?
So Malka Leifer came to Australia in the year 2000 to the Jewish community of Melbourne. The Adass community is made up of several different Hasidic groups, Satmar, Breslov, a few others, and it's a small community. It's got about 400 or so families, and she's from the Nadvorna Hasidic sect. And during her time as principal, she was principal there for 8 years. She allegedly abused several of the female students. She's wanted for 74 charges of child sexual abuse by Victoria Police, and instead of reporting her to the police as the school should have done by Australian law in 2008, they sent her on a plane to Israel within 4 hours of being notified by the students that abuse had happened, and she's been in Israel ever since. The court case began in 2014 to extradite her to Australia, and it's now been 71 hearings and counting since this legal struggle began.
Now, Leifer survivors have been keenly awaiting this ruling, but our lawyers are saying that they're going to appeal this like they have, like you said, for basically every other ruling. I mean, how is this going to impact the extradition process, if at all?
Look, today's outcome brought a great sense of joy to the alleged victims in Australia. I think they've been waiting for this for many, many years to finally hear a court say that Malka Leifer is fit to stand trial. I mean, the level set by the defence for fitness to stand trial, they've essentially been trying the whole case, every aspect of the case in Israel when this shouldn't really be part of an extradition hearing where the criteria should be much lower. And so I think there's a sense of joy. I think this will be appealed to the Supreme Court. The defence are alleging that there was unlawful influence by the Australian government on Benjamin Netanyahu and on the Justice Minister Avi Nissenkorn, and that's why this is being and that's why they want to appeal. This obviously ignores the fact that there was alleged interference by Israel's own health minister Yaakov Litzman, which is a big reason why this was made in the first place.
Well, that's a whole other part of this story that we're not going to get to right now. But how is this story being covered in the Australian media? I mean, has it impacted relations with Israel in any way?
The Jewish community in Australia is a very Zionist community, very supportive of Israel, and has a close relationship to the Jewish state. And I'd say there was wall-to-wall anger, shock, horror especially at Litzman's involvement, but at the way this court case was allowed to drag on for so long, at the way that Litzman was continually promoted and allowed to remain in the government until recently, despite the allegations that he was pressuring psychiatrists to give false medical reports for Malka Leifer. And so I think there's a great sense of joy and relief, especially in Melbourne, where these alleged crimes happened, that this is now coming to an end. But I really hope this does serve as a wake-up call for everyone involved, that something like this should never happen again. I think the reason the girls have been fighting so hard, and the sisters keep going to do all these media interviews and to tell their stories around the world is to make it very clear that children must feel safe at school, that there should never be a situation where a principal can do this and feels like they can get away with it.
Right.